want you to continually to remind your mind, just like it tells us in Romans 6:6, it says you've been crucified with Christ, right? Well, Romans 6:11, it goes on to say to reckon yourself. See, reckon is like reminding yourself. And we have to understand the counselor, our teacher, the Holy Spirit, he's here to remind us, right? So where's he reminding us? Right here, because we're being renewed in the spirit of our mind, right? So the spirit is reminding us. Why? Is because he's a reference point to our mind. Okay, so I want to encourage you to remind yourself, reckon yourself that God is with you and nothing can defeat you. Believe that you have now received it. Assume the feeling. Let your flesh assume the feeling. Let your body experience it. Let your mind come into a kiss agreement with it. When your senses, your mind, your feelings come into a kiss of agreement with the Spirit of God in you, something magical happens, right? The power of the Spirit of God in you is formed into a natural reality, right? Those things that are not, we're seeing them in our logical mind. We're seeing things that are not as though they are. Once we see them as they are, we get up and walk them out, right? And this is what Jesus did. This is what we do, because this is the faith of the Son of God. And the faith of the Son of God, he sees those things that are not as though they are, right? The faith of the Son of God had the ability to create everything from the foundations of the world, right? The faith of the Son of God produced it all and put it together for you, right? Now think about this. Sometimes we don't see things manifest instantly. I don't know why, but let me just say this, that God himself, he spoke everything in existence about his Son, and 4,000 years later, his Son manifested. Do you think God questioned himself in that time? Right? Sometimes things take time. I think a lot of times the reason why things take time, because some of the things that we're asking God, I think we got to learn how to steward it. We got to learn to walk it out, steward it. You know, a lot of times people always say, why don't you know, go and empty out a hospital? And I'm like, are you ready to steward that? Like, I mean, have you ever thought about that? Now, this think outside of you. What about your kids? What about your wife? What are you going to do when everybody's at your door every day? When you're trying to figure out how to pay your bills, and all of a sudden billions of dollars are coming at you, and people want you every direction. They want your wife, they want your kids, they want to, they you know, you're on the road 50 weeks, and you can't go to work, and you maybe you don't want to even do it, so you can't go to work, but everywhere you go, they're there. There's people there, there's news in your face, there's everything. I mean, are you ready to steward that? Like, sometimes when we're asking for something, I think it's important that we go into our imagination, we go into the spirit of our mind, and we start to learn how to steward it here first. We live from it here, and then we start walking out only what we see our Father doing, and that trains and teaches us to walk out and steward what we're asking God for.